Today we're going to be cooking something really, really yummy. It's called Bourekas. And Bourekas are like these little triangle shaped pies, I guess you'd call it, that you eat with your hands. And they're really delicious, and they're made with a special dough called puff pastry dough. You could also use phyllo dough, but puff pastry dough is really, really yummy. And it comes in a box like this, and you keep it in your freezer, defrost it overnight in the refrigerator, and then you're ready to roll it out. So I took one out of the package already. It's wrapped up in this wax paper so it doesn't dry out too much and it stays fresh. So the first thing you need to do is flour your board. So get a little bit of flour. This is gluten-free flour. You can use regular. The phyllo dough that I have is also gluten-free. My friend Ronit found it for me and gave it to me, which was very kind. And then you just unroll the paper and you see the dough's in there, and it's cracked in some spots, and that's okay because we're gonna press it down. That's it. Wherever there's a crack, you can just sort of press the pieces together so it sticks and it's nice and soft. So I'm just gonna do that in a few places. And I know you're really good with doing this too because I've seen you do that with Play-Doh, right? When you stick things together, pieces that break apart. And then you can get your rolling pin, and I'm gonna flour my rolling pin. So I'm taking like a big pinch of flour and I'm putting it on top of my rolling pin, and then I'm brushing it all over as I turn the rolling pin. Can you do that? That's kind of hard. You gotta turn it, brush it, turn it and brush it, turn it and brush it. There you go. And then you can roll your dough just a little bit. And again, if it starts to crack, just pinch it back together again and you'll be fine. So I'm gonna roll it this way, and then I'm gonna roll it the other way. And again, mine's cracking, and that's okay. Sometimes if it's been in the freezer a long time, it will start to crack. Don't even worry about it. So just roll it out a little bit. You don't want to make it much bigger. You just want to get it flat and get see where the cracks are so you can glue it together with your fingers. Just press it together, not real glue. We would not eat real glue, would we? Nah, we wouldn't do that. Okay. So here it is, and I need to cut it in half, lengthwise. The short way is the width, and the long way is the length. So I need to cut it in half lengthwise. You can get a ruler, or you could try to, it's called eyeballing it. When you look with your eyes to see, where would the halfway part be? Probably somewhere around here. And you can use a knife to cut down the middle like that. Or you could have a lot of fun. If you've got a pizza cutter at home, you could just take your pizza cutter and go all the way down the middle. And then look, I've got two pieces. One, two long pieces. Now what we need to do is cut each long piece into 4 pieces. Do you think we can do that? Let's see. I'm gonna cut one long piece in half, like that, and another long piece in half like this. There we go. And you know what? I think I'm going to, here, do this in half and this in half. You can make Bourekas any shape you want. You can make triangles or you can make squares. So what I think I'm going to do is make 2 big triangles because I've got 2 big squares, and I'm going to make 2 little squares by just folding them over, and we'll see how that goes. You can use both rolls of dough if you want to make a lot more. You can make all kinds of shapes. It's really fun. You can make half circles, whatever you decide you want to do. So the fillings that usually go in Bourekas that people love the most are, do you know what's in my dish? Mashed potatoes. And then a lot of people like spinach. And you could also put in onions and mushrooms. You could put mashed potatoes and some shredded cheese inside. what I'm going to do is, in my mashed potatoes, I'm going to add some onions. So these onions have been, it's called caramelized, when you cook them for a long time and they get nice and golden. If you don't like onions, you do not have to put them in. I'm going to mix them up. Do you hear that? And you want your mashed potatoes to be very creamy. So if they're not, and they should be cooled, if they're not creamy, you can add in some oil, or you can add in a little bit of milk or almond milk and make them pretty creamy. That's what we need. And in my spinach, I just put in a little bit of vegan feta cheese. You could use real if you like. So what you want to do next is take an egg white that has been beaten up, because it's going to be like our glue to hold the dough pieces together when we make the Bourekas. And you know that I don't eat eggs, so I have something called aqua faba. And this is the liquid that comes in the can of chickpeas that we used when we made our hummus. I saved it. You could also freeze it. So what I'm going to do now, let's say I'm going to make one big triangle. How about that? So on 3 sides, 3 sides that are touching each other, 2, 3. I'm going to paint 3 sides of the egg white or the aqua faba, whatever you want. And then I'm going to put some of my mashed potato filling right in the middle. And I don't want to overstuff it because it will burst open when we're baking it. So just a tablespoon or a teaspoon or 2, depending on the size. Oh, and I said I was going to make this into a triangle. So I'm going to take one corner and flip it over to the opposite corner on the other side. So here we go. And mine's starting to rip, and that's okay. I'll fix the rips after I fold it over. So here we go. Over it goes. And there's a little bit of a rip, and that's okay. I'm going to glue it together. And I'm going to press it down. Press, press, press. And there's a little bit of extra dough here. I'm going to cut it off. And I'm going to take a little bit of the aqua faba. It's like glue, or your egg white. I'm going to glue it on top and press it down. Easy, right? And then we have our triangle Boureka. And then what you do is you take a fork, and all along the outside edges, you're going to press down. Not too heavy, just to make a design. I'll show you what I mean. There, just like that. Do you see the design on the edge? All right. So I'm going to put that on my baking pan that I've lined with some paper. And I think for the little ones, I'm going to first paint 3 edges with my aqua faba. And I'm going to put a little bit of the spinach in, just a little bit. And I'm going to fold it over. So it's all, oh, look, some's coming out. That means I put too much in. That's okay. I'll just take it out. And I'm going to take my fork again, and I'm going to press it down all the way around so it sticks. There we go. So we've got another one. We've got a little square one. You can have fun filling it and making some shapes, and I'll be back to show you what we do after it's all filled in. All right. Okay, I'm back, and I'm finished filling my Bourekas. So I've got 1, 2 triangles that have the mashed potato and onions in it. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for counting with me. 4 squares that have the spinach and the feta in it. And before we put it into the oven, you can see I've put it in a pan that's lined with that parchment paper that we sometimes use, so nothing sticks to my pan. We need to brush the tops of our Bourekas with a beaten egg white, or my aqua faba with that same pastry brush that we had. So we're gonna brush the tops on, all over, right on top. Not so it's too wet, just so that it has like a little coating of it and it's a little bit shiny. So do that, because something that we're gonna put on top needs to stick to the dough. What do you think we're gonna put on top? Something that's in this dish. Do you remember what that could be? I'm also gonna put something that's in here. Not sure if you know what this is. So let me just finish my last 2 squares. Okay, so I think for my triangle Bourekas, I'm going to put some of these, sesame seeds. So I'm going to take a little pinch and sprinkle it on top. And if I want to do more than a pinch, we could do 2 pinches. Some will fall off onto the pan. That's okay. No worries. Okay, and then on my little square Bourekas, I'm going to put some Everything But The Bagel spice. That has sesame seeds and poppy seeds and some onion flakes and some garlic flakes. Now we have to bake it, and then we'll see why this is called puff pastry, this dough. Wonder why it's called puff pastry, and we'll find out after it's baked in the oven. What do you think? Let's see. We're going to bake it for about 20 minutes or so until it's nice and golden in a very hot oven. So you need an adult to help you. The oven has to be at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see you soon. I can't wait to see what they look like. Hi, guess what? They baked up beautifully. How did yours bake up? I hope they're as toasty and as golden as mine are. But there's something very important you have to know about this. Before you eat them, you have to wait. You have to wait at least 30 minutes because the inside, the filling inside gets very hot. So remember to wait and then really enjoy them because they're delicious. Let's take a closer look. Do you know why it's called puff pastry? Do you see how it's all puffed up? I had a feeling you'd guess. Should take a bite and we should try it? We usually do, don't we? I think I'll do the spinach one. Here we go. Really yummy. I hope you make it, and I hope you tell me how much you love it. And tell me what kind of filling you put in the middle. I really want to know. Bye, everybody. See you soon.